Hello, instructor. My name's Nick Dram, and this is my Trace the Path presentation. The offense of my scenario. I am doing theft and burglary today. Alright, the scenario. My scenario is going to be dealing with a 13-year-old boy named Danny. He's a juvenile, and his father, Steven. He's going to be the adult in the situation. Steven and Danny have been stealing cars, and they've been also breaking in houses for quite some time now. They've been doing it for a while, and they have not been caught. They decide to go to a dealership one night and steal a car, but ended up tripping the alarm at the dealership. By the time the cops showed up, Steven got out, and Danny did not. Danny was handcuffed. He was placed into the cruiser. I imagine his rights are going to be read to him, especially they're definitely going to ask his age because they have to do a certain process for juveniles. They're not able to really pressure him with information without legal counsel because of his age. Danny, like I said, he's going downtown for questioning. Danny would not give up his father. Most sons aren't going to. I don't know, it's just more of a... I don't know if I'd probably say I wouldn't give up my dad either, just how it goes. Family sticks with family. So they're not going to expect him to give up his dad. It didn't really help him that he didn't say anything anyways, because the cameras caught him. Most of the security surveillance is going to catch him. They caught them in the acts of trying to steal cars. The cops got a search warrant from the court judge, and they raided the home. Steven was arrested, and the other stolen possessions, ranging from the cars, antiques, and really other valuable possessions, were taken into custody. Steven was placed into questioning, and he admitted to it, that he had stolen and put into his possession. Also explained that his son had nothing to do with it. Key points and breakdown of this scenario. Like I said, Danny is the son. He's a juvenile, 13 years old. Steven, he's the adult. I guess we could place a name on him. We're, say, 45. There's multiple counts of burglary, theft. Danny was caught in the process of the act. Steven was also caught on video and arrested at his home. The key points of this is, what we have to remember is Danny is the son and Steven's the father. And there's multiple counts of theft and burglary. Possibly more, and breaking and entering, but I'm not really going to get into that. Detailed court process. When a person commits a crime, the act is dealt to the juvenile justice system, since he's a minor, and not the criminal justice system like Steven's going to be placed through, because he's the adult. However, the offenses juvenile courts deal with are largely the same as dealt with an adult. The court can decide that the juvenile is a delinquent after a single act of delinquency. Through some state laws, they require multiple laws or repeated acts before a court can make even a determination on the process. Detailed court process continues. The court process will be quite different from Danny and Steven, since Danny is under 18 and Steven is the adult. We gave him the age of 45 and Danny's 13. Danny will be going through the juvenile justice system, and Steven will be going through the criminal. They will determine the value of the property, which in this case is thousands of dollars, because cars, as we know, they can be placed, especially a nice car and newer car, can be placed from $10,000 to even $50,000, depending on the car and the make and model. Antiques, they're always going to be valuable. Jewelry and antiques are always in value. They hold their value. They are one of a kind. Everyone wants them. The supply and demand is what makes these products, it's what makes these products valuable. So let's say you have an antique, some wooden cup, for example. There's probably only, 500 of these, let's say, for example. Not saying it's an antique, but if there's 500 of them, since the demand's so small and if there's a high demand, the price rises. So it could be anywhere from $50,000, $10,000, $100,000. So that kind of money, that's all automatic felony. I believe anything over 100 hours is a felony. There's multiple felonies here, and Stephen most likely be determined by the jury. Stephen will be going to prison, while if he's convicted, Danny's son will go through the juvenile justice system and could be put in a juvenile prison or home. It's more like a boys' home where people that's committed crimes, they go there to these homes because of their age, so they're placed in the same age group. Let's see, Danny, like I said, is going to be going through the system, juvenile prison, and he'll be put in a foster home if no relatives want to take him. If there's no relatives out there, after he receives his sentence and he completes it, he will probably be placed into foster care. Philosophy of rehabilitation versus punishment in the justice system. Danny will be getting much rehabilitation and getting a better understanding from what is right and wrong. I think it's better to place him in this in a rehabilitation chamber because he's able to understand what he did wrong. Most of the time, if you were to place him in a prison, they lock you up and they throw away the keys. They never really tell you what you did wrong. And with all the terrible murders that are in there and just crazy people, they're adults. You don't put a child in an adult's prison. It's just not going to work out. He's going to get beaten, maybe raped. He's not going to learn anything. He's going to come out even worse. He's going to get, like I said, the therapy all the trouble he went through. He's going to need this therapy. This therapy is going to help him get his life together. He's a young kid. He's 13. He's got so much life to live. Unlike his father, Stephen, here we get a punishment through the criminal justice system by going to prison. But he can also receive help there too, but maybe to a certain extent. At his age, he should know better from doing that crime. Ethical issues in dealing with the juvenile and the adult. There are many different ethical issues when dealing with the juvenile and adult. Potential risks of dangerousness in the community. That's the truth about everything there. You got to think about putting him in let's say you put him in a prison. There's just so many risks there for the kid. He cannot be placed in adult prison. An adult generally knows how to handle himself. Also, I mean, they're young. Let's say they're in they don't have parents, right? So they hang out with their friends. They're vulnerable to the peer influence. They don't have anybody to tell them this is wrong. This is why they do the things they do. If they have no parental guidance or any sort of positive influence, how are they going to do right if they think this is the only thing that's right? I mean, there's some certain kids out there that's dealt with this and didn't have parental figures and end up being great kids, But there's not many of them don't know the right between right and wrong. It just does not click. Risk assessment, and risk taking, and impulsivity. Here's my references. The Juvenile versus Adult Court. It was Issues in Forensic Psychology. And another link, Juvenile Theft and Burglary, Crime and Punishment. And this is all in APA format. But bottom line is, the difference between adult and juvenile courts is the juvenile, they look for the kid to see what extremity was he placed under. Did he have the incompetence to make the decision he made? Like, was Danny able to make this decision? That's what it all boils down to. And in my opinion, I think he followed his dad, and his dad said this is what's right. And even his dad stepped forward and said, hey, he didn't do this. He's saying that because he didn't know what was right and wrong. He didn't have, my situation, he didn't have a mother. No one's telling him what to do. So his dad's teaching him things. He's taking this up. He's like a sponge. Any kid that's younger, they just soak up everything they can get because they think it's going to help them in the future. They don't realize what they're doing. And this is why I think this is perfect. I think the system's perfect. I really don't think he should go to prison, to an adult prison, speaking of the juvenile, because he's not going to get any help there. He's going to get tortured, raped, possibly beaten to death. He's not going to learn nothing. There's some rehab, but not that much. It's just going to make his life a living hell. He's going to be right back in there. He's going to get out. He might even do a worse crime. He might even rape women or, murder somebody because of all the emotional distress that he received. That's the fine line between this. And that's what I wanted to show you. Thank you for reviewing my PowerPoint. And I hope you have a good day.